Afternoon. How are you all doing? Well, that was a fun morning, wasn't it? Blimey. Serious movement this morning. I made a real bodge up on these true trades. Thank God they worked. Afternoon, David. Afternoon, Wi-Fi. Seems really weird calling someone Wi-Fi. So I took these two shorts. So I adjusted risk after this push and dropped my percentage down. They both stopped out, which is fine. So then I went back to normal risk. But instead of putting in 0.5, I put in 5. So I took a short with 5% risk. And it pushed up to there. And I was like, why am I so much drawdown? What the hell's going on? And then I suddenly realised I put 5 in. So I took another 5% risk, sat through it for a candle for 5 minutes, and then it all came down and I jumped out immediately. So just, we all make mistakes, but Jesus. I had 10% risk on the table on 2 trades. It scared the life out of me. I didn't notice on the first trade until it got up there and I was like, what? Anyway, so I managed to bank $500 on those 2 trades, which was an absolute fluke, but lovely. So yeah, I just got in short again, so I'm letting this one run. So I'm up 4.5%, not by any real luck or judgment, just cock up basically. But anyway, stupid. Afternoon, Bruno, Diamond. Afternoon, Gary. God, boss is away, so I can play. Awesome. Evil, Trevor, Rahat. Afternoon. So, market is re-establishing itself at the moment. We got some decent movement across the board on everything off the back of that news. So, obviously, financial juice. Just watching this when we got that massive spike. I was just watching, and obviously, this was the initial spike, 1240, and then obviously we had floods of positive news coming in about negotiations. How positive it is, don't know. It's basically just saying this is possible, that is possible, we're going to sit down, we can do this, we can definitely do it, we're all going in the right direction. Doesn't mean anything at all. Ukrainian proposals include Russia not opposing the Ukraine joining the EU. Does Putin know about this? Are they going to go back to Putin and say, this is what they've come up with, the Ukrainians? And he's going to go, what? Nah, not having that. It's all very, very, very hearsay. A win is a win, as Diamond just said. Afternoon, Franco. Proster. Yeah, a win is a win when it's a lucky one. Win is a win. You got to take them. Just like we go long and we get these crazy spikes and we go, whoa, and you ride them for 4, 5, 6, 7, 10%. I've had 10% riders. When they come, you take them. You got to. All goes in the pot. So yeah, the news is basically something's going to happen, hopefully, which has given the market a real spike today. So the pound pairs all up across the board, 100 ADRs immediately. Remember, pounds very easy, 150 ADRs plus, no problem at all on the pound. We've seen 300 ADR on the pound easy. Yen's down, so all the pounds going up. All the euros, massive boost. US dollar collapsed, so euro US dollar, pound US dollar, absolutely through the roof. Euro US dollar just not stopping at all. So all good. Euro, you see the strength on the euro. So we got a really strong pound off the back of that. Look at the euro pound. Euro is absolutely stomping over the pound at the moment. Also, ECB have mentioned today they're going to look to get interest rates back to 0. So they're dropping negative interest rates. Where am I looking at that news? This is Financial Juice, David. Google Financial Juice. It's really good for instant news. Way, way, way quicker than Forex Factory, and you can also pay and have voice news as well, which is quite good. I did a little trial of it, but it's they talk a lot. It's all the little bits of news and stuff as well, so you just end up tuning out to it. I find I use it when the market's moved, not to sort of. I just want to find out why it's moved, really. That's the best place to look for it at the minute. So yeah, all the euros. The yens all came down. We didn't quite get a reversal out on Swiss yen, although we're looking like we're getting it now. CAD yen, nice drop, new lows. This is what I was looking for, new lows on the yens. We still need to get through the accumulations, but we are going in the right direction on all of these yens. So, excuse me. I haven't got COVID, promise. So yeah, good moves across the board on all yens. Strong pound, much stronger yen. So the euro and the yen are the big winners of this news. The US dollar is one of the big losers. Dixie came down big. So all starting to go in the right direction. We need some follow through. Gold collapsed off the back of the news. Oil, big come down as well. Things are all starting to happen. All the indices off through the roof. So no idea how to trade this afternoon. I've got a short on because I'm looking for an instant fade. That's it. It's just a calculated risk. It's actually pushed up from when I got into it. When it started rolling over here, we got this bearish engulfing and a 3-bar reversal here. Dark cloud cover. I jumped in short. And then obviously we spiked up. So I shouldn't have got in really. I should have waited for candle close, but I saw this happening, so I jumped in with a short. And we've just gone up and accumulated, so I'm 90% sure I'm going to get stopped out on the open, but we'll see. Banked 3% off CAD Swiss sells. Got a little upset because I could have held for much more. Yeah, well, take the 3%. You're never going to catch the top and the bottom. It's very hard. Get the bit in the middle. Currently in gold, long mean reversion move, news in 30 minutes. Yeah, so we've got news. The market's just opening now. Let's just watch the open and just see where we go. We've got the S&P open at the minute, along with the DAX. So just looking to see what we get open-wise with these. Difficult to tell where we're going. I don't mind getting stopped out on this because I've had a fluky morning. So there goes 0.6%. That brings me down to 3.9 for the day. Oh well. Got to take it when it comes. So yeah, so really not sure how to trade this. I'm really interested in the fade. But at the end of the day, this is fundamentally positive news. So we could well easily see a continuation push this afternoon. So I want to give it time to open up and see where we're going at the open and what sort of price action we get after the open, really. Afternoon, Andy. I'm going all sniffy now. So I get a negative COVID test this morning after testing positive on Sunday, and now I start to sneeze. Doesn't add up. Something's not right. Why can you close a trade you are 90% sure that you're going to be stopped out on? Not sure what you mean by that, Wi-Fi. Why can you close a trade you are 90% sure you're going to be stopped out on? Do you mean why didn't I close that trade? I actually had reduced the risk on it. Oh, hello. MT4 seems to have gone crazy. I can't shut that. Okay. I had the risk up there. So I actually reduced the risk on the trade anyway. Got firemen and cops rushing in my building, not leaving my screen. Hell no, my position are moving. Got firemen and cops rushing into the building. You sure it's not a SWAT raid? You've seen those on YouTube where they SWAT raid the Twitch streamers. Very amusing. Have I ever looked into mean reversion trades using Bollinger Bands alongside the RSI? Yes, I have. I couldn't get them working. I've tried many Bollinger Band strategies over the years. Bollinger's like all strategies, Bollinger Bands are great in a range. When you go into a trend, you get so many losses. And RSI with the Bollinger Band, the problem with Bollinger Bands is Bollinger Bands are pretty quick to get to the edges. RSI is a slow oscillator. So you'd be better off with something like stochastics or a CCI and Bollinger Bands, because RSI is too slow, I found. But I couldn't get Bollinger Bands to work. There's so many connotations. But try it if it clicks. Yeah, Wi-Fi. I mean, so basically, I reduced the risk on it, which is as good as closing it. But you know, this candle we got here, yeah, there's the little wick on that candle. Flow it to the upside. My stop was there. Let's say the little wick was to the upside and it flew to the downside. Why would I close that position out? I think it's going to stop out, and I was right. But if I was wrong, why take a loss when I could take a 1 or 2% gain? It's a 50-50, isn't it? The open is a 50-50 shot. You have a 50-50 chance if you put a buy order and a sell order in at the same time with a 10-point stop, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting a really good trade out of it. No one knows where it's going at the open at all. So it's just literally who's got what orders to transact in what markets today. This is why we wait for the 5-minute opening range to decide what we're going to do, because we don't know where the market's going at the open. You have to let the market establish itself and decide where it's going to go. Especially today. I'm not sure I really want to trade much this afternoon because I've got my directional bias is out of the window, completely out the window. The bear market is not 100% null and void, but we've just smashed straight through the resistance that I would expect to be the last chance saloon for a leg down on the DAX. We've got this level here, which we're approaching today. So what I want today is either to get up to there and take a bounce off the 15,000 level, or I've no idea where we're going because we've just smashed straight through resistance. So we're at the middle. At the moment, we're kind of sitting in no man's land in this area where there's no price action to play off. So I've no idea where this is going today, the DAX. The other indices, we are approaching this level on the Nasdaq 15,282, which is that high. Again, if we exceed that today and we break ADR today, this bear market, as far as I'm concerned, is over. So directional bias from what I'm looking for at the moment, which is a short on the DAX, is gone. S&P, we've invalidated the bear market completely. High, low, high, low, high. So low, high, higher low, higher high. We're long. We're back in a bull market. Target there, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, which means we should be looking for longs on everything. But I'm not going to start dumping longs into the market when we're this high up. It's difficult, very difficult one to play today. Dow as well. The Dow's still got bearish market structure. It's the only indice out there that is still bearish, potentially. But obviously if the others are all bullish, you would expect the Dow to get dragged along with it. It's just a lot slower, the Dow, because it's only got 30 stocks in it. So tricky one today. So we've got big opening range on the S&P. Nas is putting off the highs. But, you know, we're due a pullback as well. You know, it's very, very, very difficult to get a direction at the moment. S&P is coming down quite hard. I'm going with a sell stop under the lows, assuming that we're going to come back down and retrace this move. So when we get this sort of bearish engulfing right at the open, it's quite often basically a fade of the initial move. So you get the big push up, you get this fade, and then you get a correction back up, and then we go off to the upside. So either it breaks this low and goes, or likelihood is this is a pullback on the next long leg. Coffee or spot of tea? I've just had a coffee. I need it for the afternoon. Mind you, I think I just had a decaf. Yeah, I did. Not quite sure why I did that. I normally have a decaf in the morning. That's my second cup of coffee. Otherwise, I have too much caffeine. So, as I don't know where we're going today, I'm going to straddle the open. This might be a bit dangerous, but we're either going to break out the lows or we're going to break out the highs. This market's got loads of volume available to it today because we've just had this news. The market's just opened. It needs to dump some orders. So I'm going to see if we can get a breakout one way or the other. S&P looks heavy. NASDAQ looks pretty heavy. What's the opening range? 200, is that all? Oh, hang on. So we're just retesting the 20. On the S&P. NAS just made new lows. Actually, NAS has just double bottomed. Sorry. Okay, I'm short one on the S&P. These are just a 20 and a 50 EMA. Bruno. Just for trend identification. Obviously, you see when it's trending, but I mean, this is just to help out with when we're looking for pullbacks and pushes, really. As in right now. FTSE's challenging new lows as well. NAS has just screamed off the 20. Gonna be one of those sessions. Got to be very careful today. This thing could go anywhere today. There has been no date or place set for the next Russian-Ukraine talks. Ukraine talks. Russian delegation is leaving Istanbul. Ukraine missile takes down plane leaving Istanbul. Game over. Okay, so we're looking to break. If we're going to go short today, we've got to get through this accumulation. As soon as we get through this accumulation, we're going to run into another accumulation. And after that, we run into another accumulation. So it's going to be pretty hard work getting down today. Seeing as the market's completely bought up this morning. Not really sure. Yeah, it's a bit wicky this morning, this afternoon. Closing that out. I don't like that. We just ended with a bullish. I prefer this long. Just looking at the S&P, looking at the NAS, looking at the Dow. They're all just slightly more bullish at the moment. We've had the big push. The retracement was an inside bar. We've come down. We've double bottomed. We've put in a doji, and we're looking bullish. I should take that on the S&P really. I'm going to put a buy stop there. I'm using pretty wide stops at the moment because I'm not sure whether or not we're just going to go into a wiki horrible range, and if so, I want to give myself the ability to get out of it if that is going to happen. So using wide stops obviously gives it a lot of breathing room to move and then pull back, which will allow me out. I don't want to get in too tight because it's very choppy at the minute. Okay, short on the DAX. Franco, you use 21 and 55 EMAs 125 simple for day bias. Yeah, all EMAs basically are roughly. All EMAs are rough basically, so it doesn't matter which ones really you use. You need a fairly slow and a medium paced EMA or SMA if you want to. So I've got tick strike on at the moment. You can probably hear that ticking away in the background. Just cancelling those pending longs. But they're just your 21 will be slightly different to that one. Your 55 will be slightly different to that one, but it tells you the same thing. That's tick strike, by the way. So I don't know if you can hear that clicking. This is on Financial Juice. So it basically gives you directional indication on the S&P as to when there's large volumes coming through. So a high tick is an up tick and a low tick is a down tick. So it tells you when there's orally. No? What's it when you're hearing stuff? Tells you when that's happening. You can hear the market basically. I used to use tick strike ages ago in stocks, but haven't used it for ages, and just thought I'd turn it on today for a bit of a giggle. Better turn my volume up a little bit actually, so you can hear it better. How is oil? Dead. Well, it was dead. It's not happy today. Obviously, it's not happy because there's light at the end of the tunnel. There we go. Negative ticks. So that is telling us that the S&P is coming down. There's a lot of selling volume coming in. So every tick you hear is a large batch of contracts. Orally, I'm trying to think of them orally. Tick strike is orally shouting at me, but I'm hearing with my ears. An audible, that's what I'm looking for, the word. Audible. It's an audible version of the market. Bank of America sees 3 straight 50 basis point rate hikes in Canada. Okay. So we've got news coming up in 10 minutes. We've got the JOLTS job openings. Okay, so got a bit of buying pressure building on the S&P. NAS is getting bought up as well, so just watching this. We've already had a jolt today. Yeah, that is true. Good jolt though. It's nice. Nice to see some sort of normality. Potentially. It's very hearsay there at the moment, isn't it? I mean, it's just like, yeah, we will get together and we will talk at some point. It's the only downside with having my volume up for tick strike. There you go. So negative ticks coming through on the S&P. Driving it down, which will quite possibly drive down the DAX as well. There's lots of ways to use tick strike. One of the ways it's useful is what we're just seeing here at the moment. If you get a continuous tick down like that, but you don't see price moving down, it means that there is absorption happening, which means that the buyers are buying up. So this is increased selling volume coming in. If price doesn't manage to move down, it means that we got a lot of buyers there. So when that tick stops, if that price retraces, it means you're more likely going to see a bull move. Yeah, and very nice seeing UJ come down. All the yens coming down very nicely. Really good. UK, wow. FTSE's just dropped out the bottom of the earth as well. It's all retracing this move. I think we're going to get a really good retracement on this today. Just move my TPs down here. Tick strike is basically like it's a simulation of market noise. So pit noise, when you're in the pits, it gets really, really loud and noisy when there's a high volume of transactions going. The idea behind tick strike is it's simulating that pit noise, because the pits obviously don't exist in the way they used to. So that means loads of people are selling, and it's just simulating. It just tells you when it's happening. You'll hear upticks in a minute. But it's good fun. It's not something you can use necessarily to. It's not a signal or anything. It's just if you're in a short position and all you can hear is downticks coming in, it's good to give you confidence to stay in the trades. If you hear it suddenly loads of upticks coming in, you might want to shut out some profitable positions. So we got. There you go. That's upticks. So that's buyers coming in. So we've pretty much done that gap. But there's not a lot of buying there. It's been eaten up a little bit, but still coming down. I'm going to hold on to these for a minute. You are Franco already? Blimey. Done for the day. Closing out one. Let's move to break even on the next one. Buyers coming in. I haven't gone through the ADRs today. It's pretty obvious what's going on. I don't need to tell you that everything's gone crazy today. So there's no point in going through the ADRs. All the euros hit to the upside. The pounds have hit to the upside. The yens have hit to the downside. Enough said really on that. So you see here you can hear the buyers coming in as we're ticking up. Then it goes quiet and you see it sort of slightly move down. If you hear a load of sellers stepping in now, it's a good sign, because the market hasn't managed to move much on all that buying activity we just had. So if selling activity now takes over with large contracts, gives you confidence that this is a pullback. Lots of different ways to use it. It's worth going and have a look. If you might help, you might not. But I just thought I'd put it on today because it's quite interesting to hear the market as well as see it. RSI's today as well. Hourlies, it's all euro. I'm short the euro, but I'm waiting at the moment to see what happens with these news items. I've got a feeling we're going to get all this reversed this week. Quite when this is all going to kick in, I don't know. these meetings, and obviously we've got non-farm payroll this week. 2 minutes to the news. Let's watch Euro US dollar. Stopped out in that second half. See, I got out of that because tick strike was ticking long. So I knew there's a pullback potentially coming. So that's, that's kind of how it's useful. Just make 10% on your gold mean reversion buys. Really? Gold gone up that far? Crikey, yeah. Nice 125 bounce. See what happens with the US dollar on the job openings. I've got a feeling it's not going to do a lot today. We've had a lot of movement already with 200 ADR. So if anything, I would say it's probably going to come down. But we'll see. Good job, 10%. Very nice. One minute to the news. Well, 25 seconds. You'll hear the S&P go crazy as well in a sec. The tick strike will just go mental in a minute. Any marriage advice? Still 18. Nope. Tricky. Yeah. See, not a lot of movement on the US dollar. Otherwise, you'd have heard it. So, news is 107.2, forecast 107. So, as forecast, no news basically. Bearish by the sounds of it. Woodpecker says short. Oh, sorry, that's because consumer confidence was 107 and forecast 107.2, forecast 107. Job openings is 11.26, forecast 11. So again, ever so slightly better than forecast, but not nothing to write home about. Mega positive. This is why I don't have my sound on normally when I'm streaming. I've got Discord going off, got Telegram chat going off, alerts going off everywhere. It's like a madhouse. From where is the sound coming from? Tick strike. So this is basically tick strike. Tells you when the S&P is moving and which direction it's moving in. Audibly. Not orally. Audibly. Come on, MT4. That's my other terminal, not this one. One of my other terminals. I've got 3 open at the moment. So that's negative. So that's negative ticks coming in. So you want to be selling. When it ticks high, it means there's lots of buys coming in. And when I say lots, I'm talking 100 contract orders at once in the futures market. So these are institutions dropping 100 contract lots, 100 contract orders. So these are big market moving orders basically. So I'm just going short one more on the DAX. We've just had a little pullback. So I'm looking for a continuation move on this. Yeah, it's an audible heat map. That's good explanation of it, Peter. So if you subscribe, Tick Strike, I think it's 99 quid a month or something like that. It's not cheap. Might be cheaper than that. I don't know. I haven't looked at the price for ages on it, actually. Let's have a look. Purchase. Yeah, £99 a month. $99 a month. But you can set it up for lots and lots of different instruments. So you can have different tick strikes set up. So you can have a tick strike for the S&P, one for the DAX, one for the Dow. You can have it for Forex pairs. You can have it for all sorts of stuff. But it's a scalping tool, really. I mean, it's for kind of 1 minute. Super fast scalping. I have my stop a little tight on this. Okay, so there's bears coming in. Yeah, see the market coming down. Hear the market coming down. Big one there. Big contract to push down, take out those lows. Sellers have stopped. If you want to listen to Tick Strike really in action, turn that on in non-farm payroll. It's deafening. Literally, it just goes crazy. It's hilarious. Really useful though. You can literally just shut your eyes and press the buy button or the sell button. And when you hear the opposite ticks coming in, hit the opposite button. You'll probably make money with it. It's really useful in that respect for telling you whether there's continuation of orders coming in. And as I say, the most useful thing I ever found with it is for identifying absorption. So if you've got thousands and thousands of ticks coming in short, locks coming in short, and this is not going down, it means they're all being absorbed by buyers down here. So they're dumping hundreds and hundreds of contracts in the market, and we're not going anywhere, which means there's way more buyers than there is sellers. So when those ticks stop, you'll find it just goes and the buyers win. And the other way around, obviously, for sellers. So that's what I found it to be most useful for. But it's good if you consistently hear negative coming through, and you don't hear any longs coming into the market. Just gives you way more confidence in your directional bias as well. And you can also adjust it when you buy it. You can adjust it, so you can say, I want to know when there's 50 contracts or 100 contracts or whatever. So you can adjust the size of the contracts that are entered into the market before it ticks. So if you want to fine tune it, you can get more audible alerts and more often. Go and watch the video if you're interested, though. At the moment, we've been stuck for the last 20 minutes. Okay, got new lows on the DAX. Same on the S&P. So remember what I was saying about how the institutions split their orders up, yeah? What you're hearing is them dumping their batches. Now they've stopped dumping batches. And then the next batch goes in, you'll hear it. So you're hearing large institutional orders being placed. Remember, they've got that 250,000 contracts to dump on XYZ sectors today. They'll split it up into 20, 30, 50, 100 batches of orders, and they'll dump those in. You're hearing those orders being literally placed in the market by the institutions. It's interesting. Just gives you another insight into what's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Well, we do know about it, but what most people don't know about. Fortunately, though, I've got it set up on the S&P and not the DAX. I should be trading the S&P, really. We're not getting anywhere on the DAX. Okay, we've got a little bit of movement starting on the DAX now. It's way behind everything else at the moment today. Nas coming down well. Dow as well. We're just coming down into an accumulation on the Dow. I'm not getting anywhere on this. I might can this in a minute. We're due a pullback on the rest of the indices, and the DAX is just being absorbed at the moment. Yeah, typical. Everything's dropping but the DAX. Yeah, closing that out, 0.1. We're going to start pulling back on this in a minute. And obviously that's buying pressure is going to go across all the indices. So this isn't really going to go down anymore, I don't think, unless we get a substantial move here. So just tapping into potential support on the Nasdaq. And S&P. There we go. So here's the buyers coming in, buying up support. Did it there as well. Tough today. So we didn't get up to that level on the NAS. Nowhere near. Quite sure where we actually stopped there. It's a bit of an odd level. Not really a strong support resistance there. But we are rejecting at the minute, which is why I was hoping this was going to come down a little bit more. I'm still waiting for this gap fill. We're just getting further and further away from the gap fill on the DAX at the minute. So if we're going to continue our long move today, I think on the sellers again. Whoa, big star. Okay, now the DAX is going. Told you it's got one of those sessions. Not scalping. So that support's not held. Try one more. Basically looking for a move down to support on the DAX. Okay, in one more short. So looking for somewhere around there. That double tone is twice as many orders coming through, so it does a kind of a double tick to tell you there's more volume than normal. And obviously that's what you're seeing is the large amount of orders, much larger amount of orders coming in. You quite often get these as well, these the big ticks. You get them at the end of trends before a pullback. So it's the final dump down to get to where they want to get to, and then you'll find the pullbacks tend to commence sometimes as well. So try and get in one more short just to double up the position and see if we can get a quick push down into this support before we get a pullback. But it's looking a little bit bully backy at the moment. As it's coming off, not sure where that support is I've got drawn in there. So that's this high we're bouncing off at the minute. That was more of a resistance, so I wouldn't expect that to really hold there. God, I picked the slow one. I picked the slow one the other day, didn't I? There's an argument for getting in with 0.25% risk on both instruments, really, picking the DAX and one of the USs, or two of the USs, basically, with 0.25%, and splitting your risk across them, because you always find there's one outlier that goes faster than the rest, and it's usually the NASDAQ. But today, mind you, the S&P's gone pretty much the same as the NASDAQ today. But there's a few buyers starting to step in. Just got into a second position down there, just as they start to buy up. So 4-hour RSIs, all these euros are up at the highs. And we've got New Zealand dollar CAD right down at the lows off the back of the Canadian dollar strength as well. So lots of opportunities on these euros for shorts, but at the moment I don't want to be shorting the euro. I've been saying for months I want to be doing nothing but shorting the euro. We've got opportunities now to short the euro, but it is such a big fundamental shift, this, off the back of this war. I would normally expect when something fundamental like the war gets undone, we get a V-shaped recovery, which is why I'm very cautious about shorting the euro. If it was just gradually pulling back and we had no news, I'd be interested. But after a spike like that, if they do sit down and they do agree something, this thing's going to go straight back up and recover to where it was. All of these euros will. And in which case, obviously, you do not want to be short on it. But equally, from a technical perspective at the moment, it's a beautiful 24 bounce on the daily. It's all looking really good for shorts, isn't it? Got liquidity runs going on at the moment. Double top. Euro US. Perfect double top, pretty much. Lovely fade opportunity on that. Tricky. Very tricky to read at the minute. Keep going, woodpecker. What do you think of Tick Strike then? Like it? Hate it? I can turn it off, obviously. If it's really getting on your nerves, I'll turn it off. We're struggling to make new lows on the US indices. Hate it. Yeah, I'll turn it off. If you want it on, just go to Financial Juice and turn it on for yourself. Just closing those out 0.5%. Here come the buyers. We're sitting in this potential buy area. I still think we're probably going to get down here, but the other indices are starting to flag out. We'll probably see the similar sort of price action coming in on the DAX as well. So I don't want to just get eaten back to break even. So bagging another 0.5%. No, I don't find it useful. Well, I do find it useful, but I'm not. I can live with and without it. I just thought I would point it out. Somebody mentioned it. Have I used it? In the Telegram group, they DM'd me about it because they saw it on Financial Juice. So I thought I would demonstrate it live. But it's one of those things. When I first bought Financial Juice, and when I was trading stocks, and I bought Tick Strike, it was I was trying to use it to scalp the market. So when we were getting loads of ticks coming in, I was hitting the sell button, and of course it doesn't mean the market's going down. It just means large orders are being dumped. We've no idea how much buying pressure there is on the other side of those orders. So it tells you there's a load of orders coming in the market, but that doesn't mean the market's coming down. It means there's a lot of orders coming into the market. So I was trying to use it as an entry signal, and I was like getting fed up because it would be the woodpeckers would be down, woodpeckers would be down, then woodpeckers would be up again, and you'd be like, hang on, I just shorted this. It said it was going down. I didn't understand at that point absorption. So I didn't know what it was telling me. Now I know what it's telling me. It's useful. But I can see absorption. I can see we're getting absorbed here. The selling pressure starting and we're not going down. So it's useful for that. Yeah, you can use it for loads. You can set it up for any instrument as far as I know. I think it's got to be a futures instrument. I think I'm not sure what markets. They might have lots of different markets now, but you can use it for Forex, for everything. Evil saw it some time ago on Apex as a recommended tool to help trading. Yeah, you can take DAX long probably here, Profster. It's going to pull back. I don't know whether or not. I still think we've potentially got a little bit more down, but the other indices are starting to flag out down here. So we'll probably get a pullback. We're due a pullback. But if we're going into a strong, do you remember we've had strong trends recently? So IRB has just come up. It's likely to pull back, but whoa, cancel. Sell stop under that last candle is also a good entry. Because remember the other day we had 1 bar and 2 bar pullbacks literally for about 2 hours. I think the market, this was a complete overreaction to that news. It's just like, yes, we might be doing this, we might be doing that. We've sat down, we've talked about stuff, we've put our cards on the table. Nothing's really advanced. And yes, he's willing to sit down with him at some point, possibly in the future if we fancy it. Oh, great. No, it's not. So I think the market's realizing actually this is a little bit of an overreaction. So we've got the A-shaped recovery already formed on the S&P, which is a typical news spike move. We see it all the time, don't we? A-shaped recoveries and V-shaped recoveries. And we haven't got there on the DAX yet. We started here. So we've got plenty of room. But we've got this accumulation to get through and support. So we may well get down to there and bounce. But strong downtrend at the moment. Yeah, so absorption, Peter, is... I haven't got a ladder I can show you. So on the depth of market, you would have two sides to the depth of market. You'd have the bid and the ask, either side of price. So you'd have this replicated over there as well. So you have the bid and the ask, basically. And you'll have numbers of contracts sitting on either side, down here and up there. And basically this is where we've got 100 contracts there and 100 contracts there. And those 100 contracts on either side will transact at this level until one of them is gone. When that's gone, the next 250 contracts sitting down here, we will jump down and the sellers will start eating away at those contracts. And this is what is happening under the hood. If there are 25,000 contracts short and there are, say, 10,000 contracts sitting here long, what you'll find is if these 25,000 contracts all disappear and we're left with 5,000 contracts over here, it means that we've absorbed. So this 10,000 was only the initial amount of contracts being shown, and as these 25,000 contracts have all been sold into the market, more buyers have come in behind the scenes and added to this. So we may have executed 35,000 contracts here, i.e. we have absorbed all of those contracts, and on a chart you will see price pushing down, rejecting, down, rejecting, down, rejecting. This is where we get the long wicks. So this is the sellers pushing down, trying to push price lower, and the buyers basically eating up every single contract they put in the market until all of a sudden we get a bullish candle put in, and it's like, right, okay, there are no more sellers left. We've eaten all their contracts, and we're sitting here with now 25,000 contracts long. So we're going to dump these in the market. And if you haven't got enough contracts there, we're going to keep pushing you up until you start having 35,000 contracts up here and you start absorbing our orders. And then we will start to see wicks forming here as the market absorbs all the buyers, and the sellers will start to take control. And this is what these zones are. And if you see absorption happening in these areas, like here's a prime example of absorption. Yeah, we pushed up really hard, we came down, the sellers entered the market, sellers pushed down, we pushed down, buyers absorbed all those. We pushed down, buyers absorbed. Pushed down, buyers absorbed. Tried again, buyers absorbed. We went bullish. We took off. Exactly what happened there. And that's where tick strike is useful. If you hear tons and tons and tons and tons of negative ticks coming into the market and this thing is not going down, it means we're absorbing, the buyers are absorbing all of that selling pressure. And eventually those sellers are going to give up and go, we ain't getting anywhere. We need to get out. Because if we don't get out, we're going to lose. So they exit the market, they become buyers, because when they obviously are selling, to exit the market, they have to buy. When they buy, pressure goes to the other way and it just shoots off in the other direction. Exactly what happened here. So if we'd had tick strike on, we'd have heard all those positive ticks flying in. That's absorption, basically. And that's what you find a lot of the market participants looking at. And this is why they train you in institutions. They train you on depth of market. So they train you to watch the contracts flying into the market in both directions. And they train you to see this ladder jumping up and down and what's going on with the number of contracts there. So you see like this will light up red when there's over 100 contracts at one level. And if this lights up red and then it disappears, then it lights up red and disappears, lights up red, disappears, and it keeps doing that and market doesn't move down, you can tell that all of these contracts, no matter how many come in, are all being absorbed. Therefore, you become a buyer. And they train you on this for months. You watch this ladder go up and down and up and down and up and down in the banks for months. And then they suddenly go, right, do you get what's going on? Yeah, okay. Here's 100K. And absorption is one of the most important things institutional traders look for. We see it as wicks. If you look at it on a minute chart as well, you'll see it clearer. Probably not there as much. But just trying to probably... It's not really any obvious I mean, that is probably the most obvious. It's not normally. This is where this is why on the price action toolkit I've got the equal low and equal high price action. So if the buyers push down to a level and the sellers absorb those, if the sellers push down to a level and the buyers absorb those orders, the sellers push down to the same level and the buyers absorb those orders again, you know you've got somebody sitting here and they're just sitting here, what's called hitting the bid. And they're hitting the bid at that level every time. They're dumping 100 contracts in. So every time it comes down and we go, nope, nope. And that's what that term you might hear called hitting the bid is. Basically every time it gets to a level, you hit the bid, hit the buy, and you push market up. So that's, you can see it, you can normally see it a little bit clearer, but it's a funny day today, so it's not quite as obvious. It's actually more obvious on the 15 minute, on the 5 minute. Yeah, that's a good example actually, S&P. So Pushed down, weren't interested. Tried again, not interested. Tried again, not interested. Finally, we came up. The sellers had another crack and they went, nope, nope, nope. Have another go. Nope. All absorption. All of those wicks are the buyers basically just buying the whole lot up and just pushing up again. The buyers having another crack. And that's what an accumulation is. Battle. Oops. Could you see Vladimir from the Ukraine getting upset at NATO for not helping much and eventually teaming with Russia as the Russians would secure them they have backup and help? I doubt it. He's basically murdered millions of, well not millions, but thousands and thousands of people, displaced millions of his people, driven the millions of his people out of the country and decimated multiple cities, which is going to take billions and billions to repair in a country that is not financially very well off. I doubt very much you jump into bed with the devil. I don't know. I can't see it. Hates your MT4 is lagging and you only have 4 charts open and the dash. Try a new MT4. Just download a new MT4, fresh one. It does get clogged up, and there's lots of things. Every now and again, one of my MT4s get clogged up, and I just basically scrap it and download a new one. Just copy over the indicator folder and the experts folder, presets folder, templates folder. To start with new data. It's usually a data problem. You get corrupt data and it just gets clogged up. It's just something that happens. So we've got an IRB there on the S&P. So if we are going to continue south side, we've done a nice pullback there. We've pulled back into the sellers there. I'm not quite sure what Zelensky's going to do. You know, it's like it's like Chris Rock and Will Smith having to sit across a table after one of them just slapped the other one in the face. The other one's going to be annoyed. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen at that table. You'd be very cross. But I don't know. Very difficult. There's a lot of politics at play. There's a lot of history at play, isn't there? With the Russians and the Ukrainians, so it's very hard to tell. But I just want them to sort it out so the markets get back to normal, basically. From a selfish perspective, if you could just like make friends and shake hands so I can get back to position trading, that'd be lovely. Scalping's driving me crazy. But I have to say, it's been pretty profitable, so it's just hard work. And you end up losing your day. A lot of these courses sell you this dream of you only have to work 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, and the rest of your day is free. That's great if every single first trade of the day works out and you bank 1% every single trade. But in reality, that's not the case. You go into 2% drawdown and then you end up looking for an opportunity for the entire morning, watching the market and going, yep, that looks like it. And then you lose 0.5%. And then all of a sudden you get a 2.5% trade back. And now you're back to square one when the market opens at lunchtime. That's the reality of scalping. Everyone's like, yeah, if you scalp M5, you only need a couple of trades a day. What if those couple of trades a day are the ones that come right at the end of the day at 6:30 in the evening? You've spent your entire day going nowhere. Which is why I like position trading. I can look at the 4-hour charts twice a day and decide whether or not to take an entry and then go and do something else. And then come back in 4 hours and see how we're getting on. It's just a totally different mindset to this, but I do see the benefit on scalping as an alternative. You know, I've just got my hands on a 50k account. In the last 10 days, I've made 7,500. So there's an opportunity to make a lot of money, but do I want to sit in front of the screen all day long to do that? I don't know. It's a payoff. And the stressful days where you lose 2k, you know, it's not all it's made up to be. Just about to get gathered up on the sell stop potentially. We double bottomed there. Didn't get into that. Last few weeks I've worked my 9 to 6 job and tried scalping the S&P 500 2 hours before the New York close. I'll let you imagine how it went. It's not actually that bad. Scalping the New York close isn't a bad thing. We get really good movement under the New York close a lot of the time. Better to see it on 15-minute chart. You knew the difficulty is picking the direction. So that's the last hour of the New York session. That's the last hour of the New York session. That's the last hour of the New York session. Nothing much that one. Last hour of the New York session. So you get the end of day sell-off. And the end of day sell-off is usually a good half an hour move in one direction, quite fast. The difficulty is knowing the direction. And it doesn't always happen. But you normally get a good sell-off towards the end. It's quite hard to trade. So a lot of people do trade the New York close. I don't. I've never really got into it. I have occasionally. I've had my tablet downstairs, and if I see something that looks good, I've jumped in on it. And you can make some decent money quickly. Similar to the Open. This S&P doesn't. Oh, hello. Just got some big dump. Just got gathered up into a short there. This is Harker about to speak. We just got a load of volume straight into that support. Look, just sold straight into support. Clever. We've got a load of volume coming in. All the indices. And the euro US dollar is moving a lot as well. And US dollar seems to be moving quite a bit, actually. Something's happening. Strong US dollar by the looks of things. No news coming through just yet on that, whatever that was. Russia's top negotiator Medinsky, de-escalation around Kiev and Chernihiv does not mean a ceasefire. So again, slightly positive with a negative tinge to it, isn't it? What Russians call de-escalation around Kiev, the Ukrainians call pushing the Russians back. Read it which way you will. Market had a bit of a dump on that, but beautiful pound New Zealand ADR hit and sell off. Yeah, straight up to ADR and dumped. So pound, odd, coming down as well. I'm just closing out, toying with the idea of closing this S&P out, just because I've got 2 shorts on. If we're going to get some news coming out, I don't want to get stuffed on both of these. Just seeing what this is going to do. We've got 7 seconds left on these candles. Okay, so we've got the Fed's Harker speaking at the moment. Not getting very far with this market this afternoon. I'm closing this one out, 0.3. I don't want to be in both of these if we are going bullish. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a 1% loss on both of these at the same time. When there will be a new, cleaner, modern platform for trading rather than MT4 and MT5. Well, there is. It's called TradingView. There's loads of platforms out there for trading. You've got C-Trader, Sierra Trade, Ninja Trader, loads. Obviously, brokers. Some brokers support multiple platforms. Most will only support MT4 and MT5, though. Harker, there are some signals that supply chain issues are finally lessening. So we've got some bullish news coming out. See significant boost in the service sectors. Inflation will be around 4% in 2022. So more interest rate hikes, which is what we know anyway. There's nothing particularly new coming out at the minute of him. Imagine my surprise that GA is coming down. We're tapping into support. So we're just hitting this accumulation block at the minute. Fed will begin to reduce its asset holdings soon. Interest rate rises are to be deliberate and methodical. Market's not really doing a lot on the back of this, all this stuff. The key to MT4 and keeping your MT4 healthy is basically don't clog it up with loads and loads and loads and loads of indicators and crap. I have on my just on one of my drives, I have an indicators folder where I dump all my indicators and everything over the years. I've got a massive indicators folder. But I only put what I need really in my MT4 that I'm using. And yeah, just try and keep it as clean as you can really. The dashboards slow down. When these are updating every 4 hours and every hour or whatever, this updates on a regular basis as well. They do slow things down. If you're scalping, you don't need these dashes, really. Anyway. Andy, just taken long on S&P stock just below these lows. Yeah, I think you might be right. It's a really hard, choppy market this afternoon. No, there we go. I see GDP growth this year in the 3 to 3.5% range. A lot of volatility, but not a lot of movement. So I've managed to squeeze some out of this, but lost some over here. So overall this afternoon, I'm about 0.3 up. Not a lot. Not as much as up on the morning. It's a tough one. It's always tough when you've had a fundamental news event pre-market, because it's very difficult to know whether the market's going to rally off the back of it or whether it's going to undo it all. We've undone it all today. I just picked the wrong instrument to do it with today. Should have really been trading the S&P or the NAS this afternoon. But even so, I mean, really this afternoon, the only trade was this. And this was obviously choppy. You quite possibly get chopped out of that. So really the only move you've had is there. The rest of this is all chop, apart from potentially a long now. But it's just really choppy and horrible, isn't it? Not very easy to trade today. No nice trends like we had the other day. How do you select the trades and monitor all of them? What do you mean? How do I select the trades? You mean how do I get into the market? Well, scalping, I get in when it looks like there's good price action. And market structure, basically. So I'm looking for market structure. So legs down, pullbacks, drops. So looking to get short when we pull back, in line with the trend, which at the moment on the DAX is quite possibly now. Although it's come down to exactly where I thought it was going to bounce, but I took a short into it because I was waiting for it to get all the way down there. So, ignore me this afternoon. I'm out of whack at the minute with the market. There is still a long way to go before reaching mutually acceptable deal with the Ukraine, Russia have just said. Yeah, it's all negative. This was a good fade opportunity today. Missed that. Should have really taken that fade today. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. So these ADRs at the moment, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, obviously is lovely bearish engulfing gone in off the back of that, of the Aussie dollar weakness. Euro Swiss coming straight off the 72. Euro pound, nice rejections up at the highs. So just liquidity ran those highs. Euro yen, M pattern formation. Didn't get that follow through on the yen. And Euro New Zealand dumping off the 24. So these are all looking good for shorts, but you had to take them straight into positive news. So very, very difficult to get into these today. If you didn't know that was caused by news, you'd probably be absolutely killing it. But very hard to short into positive news like that. So tricky day today. We've got New Zealand dollar CAD as well. That is just come off those lows. Bullish engulfing at the 72 and liquidity run. So a lovely stop hunt low. Bullish engulfing off. So all these played out very, very nicely today, but very hard to get into them psychologically with all that going on. Another tough day. Really tough. Really, really tough at the minute. This market is just all over the place. That the long COVID effect you are experiencing? Hopefully not. I've only just got COVID. The market is experiencing long COVID at the moment. Okay, if you look at this DAX on the 4 hour, we got this support resistance, which has been tested twice as support, twice as resistance, worked beautifully every time it's been touched. We've just rejected off of that perfectly where we are at the moment. So that is not a bad area for a short. Remember I was saying about a potential longer term trade to fill this gap this morning. Was looking to take it here. I didn't take it, but that was where I said that's a good place to start looking for a longer term short, a few days playing out down to this gap. And obviously we've pushed up off the back of this news today, but we've pushed up straight into ADR and straight into that resistance. So the way that's rejecting off of there, potentially we could look for an M pattern reversal up there for a playback down into this gap, maybe as a longer term multi-day move. But just deleted my 94 and downloaded only the indicators I use. Much better. Yeah, it's a clog up. You just gets clogged up. MT4 always has. There's lots of videos online that say do this, do that, do the other. At the end of the day, if you just get rid of it and get new data, you'll be fine. I think it's RAM. If you haven't got masses of RAM, I think all the data, because obviously bear in mind, we're storing a lot of data in here, which it needs to access to display all of your charts. So the more charts you have open, the more data is being loaded, and it just gets a little bit clogged. We're holding on for 20 at the minute. Just turn my volume off now because I don't need it because we're not tick striking. I'm playing this short. I'm very, very close to getting stopped out on it. This is going to be my last trade of the day anyway today because I've had a lucky morning. I like lucky mornings. So looking to short back down to the lows of the move off the news and just basically get that played out as a recovery. So that would be a 1% gain down there. Not quite actually. So that's 860, 600. So that's about a 0.7% gain down there. So that's really all I'm looking for today, to try and ride this down and assume that we're going to continue this trend. So that was what I was looking for then, that accumulation break, which obviously failed. We came straight into support and bounced. So if this support bounce doesn't hold, that's what I'm playing. If the support bounce holds, don't know where we're going. I don't really want to go long on it. And we're probably just going to go and accumulate. And it's going to be difficult to try and squeeze money out of that this afternoon. So if you need to, obviously carry on trading it. But if you've got a decent amount banked today, I think holding on to what you've got really, rather than trying to get into new positions. MT4 seems quite CPU intensive around the market open. Market open, obviously you've got lots of liquidity coming in, lots of ticks. Every tick is a calculation in MT4. The more ticks you have, the faster those ticks come in and the faster they're fed down from your broker, the more intensive the CPU gets used. Which is why they, in MT5, went multi-CPU, but unfortunately they decided in the strategy tester to charge you for that privilege. Unbelievable, but they did. And which is why there's no real advantage to MT5. And you get that around news. So non-farm payroll Friday, quite often one of my MT4s will lock up in non-farm, which is why I have multiple MT4s open so I can see what's going on. And I also have a tablet which I can see what's going on as well. Well, not a tablet, my Microsoft Surface. Just TP'd on S&P, 50% retracement. Nice. Nicely done. Yeah, good little long there. Glad I got out of that short. We are still holding there on the DAX, so we are flagging on the DAX. It's whether or not I can hold on, and this sell area here where we're starting to sell out of, whether that is enough to hold the buyers back or not. S&P shorts, if shorts are going to continue, this is where we'll be looking to get in. 50 to 61 retracement, coming back up to retest the opening range low. So if we're going to get any short continuation this afternoon, this is where I'd expect us to start stepping in and selling from. Hard to know where it's going to go though, isn't it, today? All we've done, literally all we've done today in New York is undo the back end of Frankfurt. So we haven't gone anywhere really. We ground up a few points in Frankfurt, obviously in the Globex session. Globex has just been undone by the New York Open, so who knows where this is going today. Good trade though, Andy, that one. Buy back again on any dip. Yeah, bear in mind obviously what I just said. Yeah, you might be absolutely right. Buy back on the dips and we might continue a lot high, but obviously bear in mind this is where the sellers will start to quite often step in on a 50 to 61.8 retracement. So depends whether you're biased long or short. I don't really have a bias today. I'm going back to confusion mode. Keeps changing its mind. UK PM Johnson, spokesman, we don't want to see anything less than complete withdrawal of Russian forces from Ukrainian territory. What's it got to do with you, Boris? You're not getting involved, are you? And also, Boris is probably getting a fine this afternoon for holding too many parties during COVID. Anybody heard any news on that? They were going to announce it this afternoon. I don't know if they actually did. I should watch the news later and see if Boris got a slap across the wrist and a parking fine. Poor old Boris. Rejecting the 50%. Tweezer tops. Getting some bearish price action coming through on the DAX. Careful with your longs. We're in a bear market this session. Or we're just in a correction long, you know. Who knows today? It's just too hard today, isn't it? It's one of those days. It's worth, if you've made some money, sitting on your hands and holding on to it. Right, I'm going to call it a day there today. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50. News-wise, be a bit careful of, obviously, Ukrainian stuff. We've got Zerbrug speaking later for the Swiss National Bank. Sorry, wrong one. SMB. Where's he gone? There he is. No. Where are we? Tuesday. There he is. That was forecast for somewhere around about 5 to 5:30. So a little bit later on, probably in an hour or so. We've got business confidence for New Zealand tomorrow morning. Lagarde is speaking just after the Frankfurt Open. We've got Broadbent speaking after Lagarde. And then we've got non-farm employment change an hour before market open. Gary, nothing said yet, watching Sky News. Yeah, waiting for that to come in. We've got GDPs tomorrow afternoon as well, and then we've got crude. So fairly busy day tomorrow. We should get some decent movement off of that. And then obviously we've got PCE and GDP for the CAD on Thursday, and then non-farm on Friday. So we've had a big, strong move, which could quite easily all get undone. We are seeing the unravelling of it all at the moment, based off the back of that news spike. But we have made a positive move in the opposite direction. So we're looking for support resistance bounces to hold at the moment, which we are just starting to see looking like that on the pound odd and all these yens. Same thing, straight back up into previous support and then bounce back out. So we are starting to see things starting to move in our way, but at the moment obviously we've had a big move today. We've got ADRs hit across the board, way extended beyond normal ADRs. So we will see some pullbacks on a lot of this stuff. So don't get too excited about the rest of the day. But tomorrow we've got an opportunity for the market to continue these pushes with the non-farm employment change. So hopefully that will continue tomorrow, but we'll see. And yeah, as I say, I've got this short indices trade on, and that's all I'm going to hold this afternoon. If that one plays out, that one plays out. If not, that'll be me done for the day anyway. So, all right. So I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:50. There's a 1 minute propulsion gap on the S&P near the day's high. 1 minute. Let's have a look at that before I disappear. That one you're talking about, I guess. I'd be more interested, yeah. Any of these could really get hit today. But the 1 minute ones are always what you are, obviously this is chop. Excuse me. Which is why I prefer 5 and 15 minute gaps, because you've got more continuous price action on those. The 1 minutes, I mean, they do work, obviously. You can see they work. So the ones after accumulations are the best. Yeah, so accumulation breakouts that hold, those are the ones we're interested in the most. This is more of an A-shaped move, so that wouldn't be necessarily anything. That's just a fast recovery on a fast move, whereas this is an accumulation breakout, which means that the buyers have stepped in there, and this is the buyers defending those positions straight up into the sellers who broke out of that accumulation and said no, sellers won. Yeah, someone's got to lose. Someone's always got to lose. So I'll be a bit not too sure about that one up there, but I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. We get in the market. We ride the train. Hopefully the train goes to our station. If it doesn't, we deal with it along the way. That's all you can do. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go through time. Those are the three things we know. One of us would be right, one of us would be wrong. Either I'll stop out and you'll make a profit, or I'll make a profit and you'll stop out. Who knows? Or it pushes up to there, you make a profit, this one just goes sideways and then collapses and we both make a profit. Job done. That's what we want. We'll see. Right, so yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:50, same time. And we'll have a look at the FX market, see what's gone on with that. And see if we can make some money out of the Frankfurt Open tomorrow morning. Anything you need, let me know. Come in the Telegram group. I will be in there. Otherwise, have a good afternoon. Hopefully make some more profit, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.